Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised our DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of those lies as Arjun act like he's surprised. Oh, cheers, man. There we go. That's a glorious intro. Gets better every freaking time, man.
I know. I love it. I never get tired of it. You know
what? Yeah. Every time I listen to it, I know my bars were the real winners. It came in hard. Couldn't even speak correctly half the time because it was just so great. My tongue even, couldn't even comprehend what my brain was telling it to do. So it had its own way, man. It had its own way. It's like it's been punched in the head a couple times.
I feel you on that one. But before you set me up for that perfect segue, I just have to say, I do give you a lot of credit there, man, because I like when you succeed. I like when you do good.
Hey,
and I say that because we all know who wrote the lyrics to this one.
Yeah,
right?
man. Yeah, man.
And
you're like the ghostwriter to my Drake.
There you go. I'm the what's the guy's name that Drake was writing off?
It doesn't even matter. That's how great it is.
That's how great it is. That's true. But it's always nice to hear your voice on these lyrics. And speaking of your past segue, punching in the head. Now, something really fun happened this past weekend, and this was probably the only sporting event that most of us got to see over the past couple of months, and it was the Dana White produced UFC 249. And the headline bout, of course, was Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. Yep. We're going to call him Gaethje, not Gaethje this time.
Correctly. There we go.
And Don, how would you say overall the card was? Did you like it? Was it fun?
I thought it was a damn entertaining card. Not only because it was the only thing that we had watched, or we could watch, for 2 months now, but it was exciting. There were a couple fights that could have been better, of course, but more or less every fight in the main card was more or less exciting. I mean, they all pretty much resulted in KOs or TKOs except for the first one.
Yeah. And you know what? We might as well jump right into the first battle, which was, of course, former NFL player. And I recently realized this guy's not a good dude. Some people pointed out to me that he's done some things in the past that really make me dislike.
Red side strong.
Red side is strong. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite strong enough, which we'll get into shortly. But yeah, Greg Hardy lucked his way into winning this fight. And before you give your thoughts, I will tell you this. I read an article that basically covered the post-fight interview that Joe Rogan conducted.
Sure.
And guess what happened? Greg Hardy said because there were no fans in the audience, because there was no fans in the crowd, he could clearly hear DC, Daniel Cormier, giving him tips. Cormier was basically criticizing Hardy's lack of effectiveness in certain areas, and so in round 2 and 3 he started checking those leg kicks that Yorgan De Castro was doing over and over again, and that ended up kind of helping Hardy score the most points
if not helping him win the fight, right? Because from what I had understood, Yorgan kind of hurt his toes on one of his leg kicks. It may have broken some of his bones. So by checking those leg kicks, man, that might have been it, right? Because, only guy upstairs will know if he couldn't hear DC, could have had a different fight.
Could be. I mean, you and I were watching it live, and I think we both were under the impression that, you know what, it's a close one after the second round, but by the third, Yorgan De Castro might have won. He might have done enough.
Sure.
But the thing we didn't realize was, or maybe it was just me, I didn't realize how much Yorgan De Castro slowed down because he broke his toe. Like, I did notice he got a little tired. I think we both commented about that. Sure. But it wasn't just tiredness. He broke his toe, and that's why he wasn't even kicking.
Yeah, man. Hey, well, it's a major injury. It is hopefully not a career ender.
Right.
But we'll see.
For sure. And the next one, I forgot what happened in the next one. Why don't you go ahead and cover that one? Stevens versus Cutter. What happened there?
Dude, I honestly don't even remember either. All I know is I believed in the Calvin and Hobbes theory that the
Yes.
tiger was going to come out. It's the year of the Tiger King. So, of course, Calvin, being the tiger god he is, went ahead and took the W easily in round 2 with the TKO.
That's right.
Don't know. I really don't remember that fight.
Dude, that's the saddest thing. Like, I have distinct memories from all the other fights.
Except this
but
one.
This one's like, yeah, that happened. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it was okay.
I mean, I'm
and
happy
also-
I took the win. So, I'll
That's
take it.
right. So to kind of refresh the memories of our audience. So obviously Don and I had bet money on each of these fights, all 5 fights on the main card. And to give you an idea of the way the payout would work, the first 2 matches, so Hardy versus DeCastro, Stephens versus Cutter, $5 for each one.
Yep.
And then the next 2, Nagano versus Rosenstreich and Cejudo versus Cruz, $10 for each one. Finally, the main event, Ferguson versus Gagey, $20. So in total, the pot would be about $50, and I was hoping to sweep. I was hoping the red states would.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
And clearly it didn't, because as you can see, I may have won the Hardy bout, but Don got his prediction right for Calvin Cutter to win, and so we're even right now at 0-0. And then, arguably, would you say the most exciting fight of the night happened? Francis Ngannou versus what's his name, Jairzinho Rosenstreich. I had not witnessed these 2 fighters fight before, but as soon as they were walking into the ring, and you could see the swag, you can see the confidence, the charisma from these fighters, it was like, oh shit, it's going to be good.
Yep. No, I mean, this fight was. I knew it was going to end in a KO TKO. I just didn't expect it to be the way that it was. During the fight, for all 20 seconds of it, the first 10 seconds looks like our boy Rhino Jairzinho was doing okay. He was doing okay. Then he threw a punch that he probably shouldn't have, and Francis kept on pushing forward, and it might have ended his career there, because he came in swinging bombs, and maybe 70% of them hit, even when he was already knocked out, right?
It was terrifying to me, because it kind of seemed like, imagine a helicopter tilting kind of downward and going forward. That's what I thought.
At full speed, too. Not just no build up, just straight full speed.
Yeah.
Like a Tesla.
Full speed, man. That's right. And it was really something to behold. And, one thing that I'm wondering is, Francis Ngannou, obviously, he's a knockout artist. A lot of his fights end with KO. He's been on a win streak recently, too. But I think what's questioned about him is his fight endurance. Can he really go potentially 5 rounds? After the opponent withstands the first barrage in the first 20 seconds, what happens then? Does he have a ground game? Does he have a backup plan? What do you think? Do you think Ngannou has a bright future ahead of him, or is he kind of going to stagnate here?
Yeah, and I mean, not to dive into the details of it, but look at the new interim lightweight champ. Ground game? Non-existent, though he may have it. He's so good in his stand-up game that there's no need to even test his ground game right now, because no one's had the capability to even get him to that level yet. So, I mean, does he have it? Maybe. I'd err on the side that his stand-up game is probably what he prefers to be doing 90 to 100% of the time.
Sure.
But with the bombs that he throws and his, I couldn't see it during the fight, but what I hope to be stellar stand-up game, where he has both an offense and a defense, rather than this helicopter tilting forward, shooting straight at you sort of performance that we saw. I don't know. I don't think it matters, because if that's his style, then by all means it works, as shown by the main fight of the main card. But we'll get into that later.
For sure. And I tend to agree with you. I think his comfort zone is such an advantage over everybody else's that he can probably manage to stay in there. Now, something that I found interesting after this fight was a surprise finish, a surprise interview, I would say. But before we get to the interview, the next fight, of course, was Henry Cejudo.
Oh, well, wait. Before you get to that.
Oh, yes, okay.
We got to talk about Francis's interview. What a guy.
Oh yeah,
This guy is stellar. Like, I want to hang out with him, and I feel like he would protect me, like without question. You know, like it could be my fault that I say something bad, and he'll be like, "Hey, whoever picks on me, you know, they'll be like, hey, get out of here." You know, like I feel like that would be it.
yeah. And for the fans that missed out on the interview, basically, this was the first time that I think both of us, either of us, heard his voice, heard him speak, and he is so humble. And he has like a very soft-spoken nature to him, but he gets his point across. He's not very loud, but he gets his point across calmly. And it's such an interesting juxtaposition between his in-ring interview and his in-ring fighting ability.
Like, oh yeah, totally opposite. You know, it's like a tiger when he's fighting, and then just I don't even know, the Admiral. That's what we called him, right? He's like a David Robinson. Like, yo, he's a tower. He is not gonna fall. He is gonna protect your rim at all costs, and he's gonna fuck up the other person's rim without even saying shit. Like,
it was it was hilarious because, for lack of better knowledge and for better comparisons, Don and I were constantly comparing the fighters to NBA players, which is kind of weird. Like, that's not a natural instinct that most people have. But yeah, just because I think, you know, Nagano was tall and kind of looked like Admiral a little bit, looked like David Robinson, we thought, you know what? He's the David Robinson of the UFC.
Hey, well deserved, man. I think
sure.
Given his now medal, he didn't get the belt yet, but I'm sure he's going to be up for a title fight soon. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah. I mean, he got a fan in us for sure. And so the next one did have a champion involved, and it was Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz. And, you know, prior to the fight, I think a day or two before, it might have been the day before, they had the weigh-ins and the face-offs, right, for the press. And I remember watching his part, and he was the only one that was a little bit extra. He took out pillow after pillow, or talking, what do you call those big heads? Sure. There was like big heads of you know, his opponent and some other people. There might have been a Jonas brother in there too, but he was pulling these heads out of a bag and kicking them into oblivion. Yeah. And you know, when he did it the first time, you were like, okay, how many more does he have? He did it another time, and you could tell there was like a third one left. You can see Dana White's face in the background, like, all right, when is this kid going to be done? You know, this gag is getting old real fast. But so I in one way, I found it very cringeworthy. I think he was even talking some smack, right? Like after the face-off, he was like saying something. He was the only one that was confrontational. Everybody else was very like civil, cordial, and they were even respecting the COVID-19, you know, social measures. But for him, he was just trying to like get it on. He was ready to fight.
Yeah. I mean, and given what we know now, that's probably why he came in with such intensity. I know Cejudo, watched a couple of his fights before. He's always had this intensity to him. But this one was, as you said, a little extra. And now we kind of know why. I mean, after taking the win in a somewhat questionable... not questionable.
Yeah, I mean... okay, well, so I know we're hesitant to say it, you know, but I'll say, from what I remember about this, I think Cruz wasn't really actively defending himself, even though he was moving around. I think he wasn't showing the referee enough, like, hey, look, I'm in this, I'm protecting myself. He was just taking some hits. They weren't very effective hits.
But they said like 11 unprotected hits and stuff like that. I get it. Yeah. But then it being so close to the end of the round and all that, I'm kind of, and you know, with the bias of knowing that he was on the blue side, I was like, come on, man. But you know what we know now, Cejudo destroyed him. I don't think Cruz would have made it to the third round anyways, or it would have been decision Cejudo's way.
Right.
Either way, you know, congrats to him and his stellar career. He's a 3-time champ, right? Triple C, Olympic champ, bantamweight, and forget the other one, but it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Olympic champ. One of the best pound-for-pound fighters we've seen in the past decade, if not the best.
Wait, what?
Yeah, who else is the better pound-for-pound than Henry Cejudo?
Wait. I mean, look, I know I'm a little bit out of the loop when it comes to UFC.
Yeah.
But one of the best pound-for-pound fighters? Oh,
Yeah.
come on, come on.
Who else?
What in the past decade isn't George St. Pierre considered to be up there?
Sure. Okay, but I didn't say the best. I said one of the best, dude. He's up there, and
But
I think his championships merit that, man. Like, who else are you gonna put up there? Okay, GSP. Go ahead. What else?
okay, okay. What about Matt Hughes? He was on one for a while.
Oh, look at that.
Remember
You're already flaking on your own little assumption there, dude. No, he's not up there.
Okay, what about Anderson Silva before he got hurt?
Anderson Silva for sure is up there.
Okay, so these are all box office players. Henry Cejudo, I didn't even know who he was until last week.
But that's how great of a person he was. He didn't need to. He showed it with the medals that he wore. You know, not all
the
great
Olympic medals, the Olympic medals that he won.
Well, the Olympic medal, right, and
Yeah.
the gold that he wore from the UFC that they gave it to him. Not all great athletes need to have the clout that superstars tend to have. You could just be good at what you do without it.
So tell
Like-
me this,
like, dude.
educate me here. What do you mean by pound for pound best? What does that mean to you?
Pound for pound, being able to defend your division, and if compared to those of other divisions, still have the same respect of being a great fighter. To me, a pound for pound fighter is saying that I could take on other people of other divisions, even though they may weigh more or weigh less, and still have a fighting chance of taking that belt if I were to hit that weight. But of course, in the feasibility of it, there's no way this guy's going to be a heavyweight fighter. He would just be too slow or anything of that sort. So if you go by kind of like, what I use is sort of like a championships divided by belts sort of thing. It's like that. Taking that kind of ratio.
Interesting. So I'm looking on Wikipedia for
Sure.
UFC men's pound for pound,
Yeah.
and you're right. Cejudo's in there. He's in the top 3.
Fuck
But
yeah!
I guess, but you know what? Here's what I took issue with, though.
Sure.
I took issue with in the past decade. I
Yeah.
don't know if he fits into the top 10 if you look at the best pound for pound fighters over the past decade.
Oh, sure. And time will tell. I think it's too recent right now to really put Cejudo in that perspective. But given that it's so recent, we have to at least pay homage to the fact that this guy left the champion and dominated the sport while he was active in it. Not only that, he's retiring on a win that not many people do nowadays. And just a stellar, aside from his kicking of head balloons and shit like that, this dude is, well, first off, he's an American hero for getting the Olympic gold medal. And second off, he's defended the belt multiple times. So, dude, like, he's definitely one of the pound for pound best. And at least for the bantamweight weight division, dude, he's controlled it. He's taken out superstars.
Sure, I give him credit. I mean, like I said, I knew nothing of the guy last
Sure.
week. I know a good amount now, especially because you explained pretty much his entire career, and I think good for him. But here's my take. I actually don't think he's retired officially. I think this is all a ploy.
No.
This is all a ploy for him to get more money.
No.
He wants to fight again, but he's waiting for a bigger paycheck, and this is his way of negotiating with Dana White.
I don't think so. Because I think upon retirement, he has to relinquish the belts. And in order to get one of those main page fights, you kind of need that belt. You lose, the power.
Let me counter your argument right there. If he is one of the greatest, if he is pound for pound champion,
But
don't you think his name is a big enough draw without a belt?
No, because it's not the same thing. Because though there are other fighters that may not be as great as Henry Cejudo, they carry their name. They carry their household name. People that don't follow fighting will know who Conor McGregor is. Just because it's fucking Conor McGregor. And he has that name. Henry Cejudo is not there. But the dollars are required, or the dollars follow the name. So, I don't think it's a ploy for him to get more money. I think he's just retiring on good faith and knowing that he has a family, and he fucked up his shoulder, like, what was it, last year? Had to get surgically repaired. I think he's left enough on the mat to make an impact in history. And he's happy with it. Maybe he could go on and start his own gym and make money that way without having to put his body on the line fighting. And for that reason, maybe you're right, where it is a ploy. He can open up a gym and say, I am pound for pound one of the best in the world. Come train with me. Oh yeah, by the way, it's $1,000 a month. Something like that. I don't know, man. I think you're hating on him too much, even though he got you the W.
Well, I'll just leave you with this very selective choice quote that he had during the press conference. He basically says, Dana White knows the number. I really do want to walk away, but like I said, man, money talks. And there you have it. I think it's all a ploy.
Nah. Because wait, let's do a quick look up, really quick. Bantamweight, weight class, bantamweight rankings, MMA. Who's up next? Marlon Morelos. Oh, Jose Aldo. That's a big name. He's number 3, but he's old.
I've heard of him.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
he's on the older side.
Okay.
Or, you know, it'd be great. He goes up a class and goes for another belt.
I think he'll get smashed.
Well, no shit.
Really...
That's why. But like for the money, like you said, maybe. I mean, all right. Let's be honest. Putting this all aside, if someone were to tell you, "Hey, next week I'll give you $1 million, but you got to go fight Mike Tyson, 12 rounds. He probably has cement bricks in his gloves, and you don't get to train aside from this week." Would you take it?
Well, how many rounds would it have to last?
12, dude. It's 12.
Are you fucking kidding?
Well, that's why you fucking take one punch and go down in round 1, dude. But like I'm saying, would you do it for $1 million?
I think no.
Really?
I think no.
I would fucking do it in a heartbeat.
Because here's why. There's a lot of content in the prequels that don't really get shared here, but one of the things in the prequels that this reminds me of is Don had this idea that he would willingly get AIDS if someone were to pay him like $100 million, or maybe it was something more, right?
Yeah.
And, for that, his justification was, well, what's the big deal? You sleep a few more hours a day? That's fine. I like sleeping. Sleeping's fun. That was basically what you told me. For verbatim, I think.
Well, and you're not taking into account the fact that I was like, hey, that means financial freedom for my family and the family.
No, I did. I acknowledge that. That's great.
Okay. No, but I'm saying you gotta mention it at least. Some people haven't heard that.
Okay. I know. I gotta frame you as a better person. I understand. So basically, for that argument, I understood Don's justification. But here, I think there is a chance that you could die.
Dude, you have a week to train your neck. You're good. Hey, go get some surgical implants, get some plastic surgery to put some pillows on your head somehow.
Now let's even explore that, Don. Do you really think I can heal from this plastic surgery in a matter of days? And think about it this way: this is COVID season.
Don't matter, dude. Hey, yo, it's just one. It's just one punch, man. Hey, one punch for $1 million.
No,
man.
Dude, I
think 2 million. What's your number? 10 million.
Okay, basically the question is, how much money would you be willing, or would you be willing to risk your life for X amount of dollars? Like pretty much 5 minutes, 1 round, or 3 minutes, 1 round. You're gonna get knocked out for sure. You know you're gonna get knocked out.
No, man, you don't know. Hey, you might get one in. You never know. You just graze them on the chin, right? Enough. It might knock him.
I doubt I could even reach his chin, to be honest. It'll be well protected. But I'll tell you this much. I don't have a number for this because I feel like the chances of getting knocked out and going to the hospital and maybe even suffering some kind of brain trauma is way too high. I'm not a boxer. I don't get hit like that. Maybe you do. Maybe you've sparred before. Maybe
you don't have a wife, so you don't understand boxing yet. That's the thing.
Right. She jabs you up a little bit now.
Oh, man. Jab! Whoa, that's if I'm lucky.
Oh man! So some right crosses and left hooks.
Man, it's a straight hook coming in, like a straight hook. Can you believe it? Like I never even heard of that, but it comes.
Oh boy. Well, perhaps you're speaking from more of an experienced standpoint in that regard, and I defer to you. If someone were to offer Don $1 million, I'm sure he'd take it.
We take a beating day in, day out with our jobs, as much as you don't want to do it.
It is different.
It is different. But this is instant. It's $1 million. All right, what about $1 million untaxed? Oh, I just doubled it. What's up?
That doesn't do anything for me. You offered 2 million before, so like it
just
doesn't do anything. It's all right. I think we'll get off this one because I feel like we've spent more than enough time talking about Cejudo.
Yeah,
I actually.
Well, then, all right. So if we jump to it, someone that can take a punch is obviously Justin Gaethje,
Yes.
the guy that you should have picked, but you changed your mind because you went with Red Side. What a loser! Justin Gaethje. What a fight that was! I think when we were watching it legally, having fun.
Yes.
There were moments where you're just like, oh, like you hold your breath and you're like, how the fuck is Ferguson still up? How the fuck is Gaethje still up? Oh, that was a close one. Shit like that. This fight was well worth the pay-per-view amount, just in and of itself.
I would easily pay the same amount of money that we paid this weekend again, just to see these guys fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, easily. I wouldn't even think about it. Like, here's my credit card. There you go. Now, I'll say that a couple of things surprised me here. I did not expect Tony Ferguson to be such an Iron Man and such a strong jaw that he has. Like, obviously, I haven't seen any of these guys fight before. I'm going to say that right now in the interest of full disclosure. But I expected Tony Ferguson to be, I guess, the dominant aggressor in this one. But instead, it was Gaethje that was being super dominant, landing most of his hits. And even though Ferguson wasn't necessarily getting knocked down, you could tell as the fight went on, he was getting tired, his hands were dropping, and he was wobbly after a few of those hits.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wondering, do you think Ferguson has one of the best jaws in UFC, just in terms of withstanding massive blows to the head and still continuing to fight? I haven't seen a fight like that in quite some time.
Yeah, I think Ferguson has shown that he could take hits. He could basically stand with the best striker of his weight class, even though he hasn't even prepared specifically for him, right? Because there was that thing where he prepared for Khabib, who's a ground fighter, not for a striker like Gaethje. And he took almost 25 minutes of punishment. It was crazy. And that's something that you could be doing with Mike Tyson for $1 million.
Jesus, I wouldn't last 25 seconds with Tyson. Are you kidding me?
Hey, yo, I'll put $1 million down on it, and I think you can. You just gotta work on your cardio a little bit, run around.
For sure, but I think you're better off saving that $1 million for something else, for probably a house.
Yeah, for Henry Cejudo's comeback. We'll put some money on that one.
We will. We will.
Yeah, man. Hey, and Gaethje, congratulations, has the interim title. Looking forward to him going for the real title whenever that occurs. Probably won't be till maybe the end of the year, if that. And I'm super happy because with that win, I ended up winning our bet, which was amazing. Blue side all day, Crip life, Snoop Dogg, what's up? This is how we do it. All right, Gaethje's our guy.
I like how Blue Side shifted from Biden to Snoop Dogg.
Oh, my bad. I was saying,
all good. But so kind of walk me through the math, though. I'm kind of curious how you won.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Let's get through it real quick. All right. So the first couple fights, they were worth $5 each, right? So they kind of net out. It's all good. We each got one. Then, Francis, of course.
Yeah, then what happened?
Francis, of course, and Henry each got you $10. That's cool, all right? Whatever. Gaethje, though, got me the 20. See, but what happens is, because your fighter retired, Henry Cejudo, technically that means you take the L, right? Because we got to represent these fighters moving forward. I'm just saying, your guy ended up not only leaving the fight, but leaving the whole game. All right? That's worth something. So you get a little red mark. Not in a good way. Little red mark there, right? Like, not only did your fighter leave from TKO or not leave from TKO, your person left the game.
Sure.
All right. So that nets me the win. I'm really proud of it. Blue side, we got it with winning 40% of the fights. We got the W, right? So I'm getting net pay.
What you're saying is I won the popular vote.
Sure. Don't matter at the end of the day. We got the belt. Your guy doesn't even have the belt anymore. He's done.
Well, one of my guys still has the belt. He retired with it.
No, he doesn't keep it, man. Dana White takes that. You think he buys more belts? Come on, dude. Come on, man. He just he probably takes like a soldering iron, and just like pushes some new holes through the belt. If like someone else bigger comes along and they have to wrap it around. You know?
I like how it takes a soldering iron to go through like the leather. Instead of like a knife or scissors, he uses a soldering iron.
Dude, hey, I'm assuming with some of the technical difficulties they've had in the past, he's a part-time electrician himself. So, I'm just saying.
No, I'm with you there. I concede that Don won fair and square. I have no qualms about the results.
Hell yeah.
So congratulations. My hat's off to the D.
Hell yeah.
Now, would you say that overall this was a big success for the UFC and Dana White in particular?
I think so. I think it definitely bolstered the respect of the MMA sport to individuals because they had no choice but to watch it if they wanted to watch something live that was US produced. I think so. Not only did he gain free marketing basically at the cost of not selling tickets, but he gained a massive appeal across the whole population, and he couldn't have had a better card to do it because these were entertaining fights. I haven't heard anything in the past week that showcases any negative sort of cases of corona going on because of the fight, so he didn't cause any harm that wasn't already there the day of the fight. And shows that sports can happen. He was an example to what many would consider more successful sports, such as the NBA, NFL, and MLB, that it can be done. You don't need an audience to have a successful event. Even of this caliber, where belts were given or held onto, and then eventually given up. I don't know. I think it worked out. Good for Dana White.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, this is a sign of more things to come. Obviously, there might be another fight. I think tonight, there may be another fight going on tonight. I forget who. And then probably another one the following weekend.
Sure.
I remember seeing some promotionals for Alistair Overeem and some other guys too. So good for Dana White. My one concern would be, I imagine you might get a few top-level notable names in the mix, but in general, I think it's hard for fighters to fight on such short notice, right? Like, getting the venues to be down for this, making sure everyone's tested and staying in one location.
No.
It's kind of difficult to organize all that logistically.
No.
So,
no, that's not an excuse, man. And it's like, if you want it, you're gonna get it. And I think this goes beyond just sports. No matter what level you're at, CEO level, analyst level, warehouse worker level, farmer level, whatever else comes under that. If you want it, you're gonna get it, and you're gonna make it happen, regardless of the hurdles that are in your way, right? And if it's okay with you, I'd like to talk about myself a little bit. There's hurdles that we face day in and day out, and being that my side business is a food business, it's definitely a hurdle that I'm facing right now, where I can't serve what I enjoy doing to the public. But what I have done, man, and I don't know if I told you, I think I told you this. I'm starting tomorrow at this place called Lokels Only. I gotta actually bring this up. I'm really happy about it, man. I'm on their website and everything, dude. I'm so proud of myself. By the way, I took the W home. All right, maybe 250. Arjun will get something, but I'm very doubtful. Blue side strong. There we go. But with my side company, Bunso, we're starting up a residency at Lokels Only. It's a spot in downtown LA, Little Tokyo, where it's essentially going to become a food hall someday in time when the gates finally open up and Newsom decides to, cave in and let the people do what they want. So right now they're offering a collection of vendors and restaurateurs or tours that are serving their food on a pickup or delivery basis. And as you can see, I'm on their website right now. And who's listed first? Who's listed first? Even though I'm not alphabetically first, who's listed first? Oh, it's your boy. It's Bunso. It's Bunso. And then if we go ahead and click, we got a little blurb. We got a little blurb. And I want to mention, we finally defined our food. Our food is a fat kid's dream. It's fantastic, right? And we got some menu launch special pricing going on. Everything's 6. Not because 666. All right, man, I'm a religious man. I'm praying to God tonight that, everything turns out well. But because the 6 is like a B for Bunso. That's what we're doing right there. And we got 2 burgers coming in, right? We got a longanisa burger, which is almost like a sweet and spicy sausage going on. That I made into a burger. And we got our fried chicken sandwich. I think is delicious, dude. I wish I could eat it every day, but I know what goes in it. I'm saying it's a fat kid's dream. It's a fat kid's dream. I can't eat my own food every day.
Yeah, it may not be a fat kid's reality every day. I got you.
And I gotta say, what I'm really excited about, the Cholo Lumpia.
Ooh.
It's fantastic, man. It is everything that I've been working on. It is my own creation, where I basically take a cholo, grind him up, and put him inside of a lumpia wrapper. No, I get it. It's carne asada. It's a fusion of food that I truly enjoy, and I'm living the dream and sharing that with everybody here. Oh, did you see that picture? Look at that Cholo Lumpia, man. That is, whew. I'm so proud of it. But anyways, I'll be there Thursday through Sunday this coming weekend. You can order online, pre-order, get it picked up anytime from 5:30 and 9:30 Thursday through Sunday.
And just for our fans in the audience, which of course we have thousands and thousands of, what's the website? What's a website they can go to check this out?
It is Lokels Only. Go ahead and go Lokels Only /local market, where at that point, it's fantastic that I'm being able to display myself. But any of these vendors I've hung out with, talked to them, they're all great. You click on any of them. Let's go ahead and click on the best one right here, Bunso. And what you do is you go ahead, you can see a little blurb about them if they have one and their menu. Go ahead and select what you want. Right, we're going with the Cholo Lumpias. And then you just add it to your cart. Select your time and when you want it. And then it'll be hot and ready for you to pick up. You can order from multiple vendors or just one, depending on what you want. But make sure to have Bunso in there. And it's great. We're launching a great venue today. Or, sorry, tomorrow. You probably hear it today, depending on when you listen to this. But we have Indie Brewing Company going to be there. And what they're doing is we're opening up beer, finally. So it's going to be like a food hall. It's going to be great. You get a beer for $3.50. Can you believe that?
Wow. Well, what a deal. What a deal. This is fantastic. I'm always so pleased to hear any update with Bunso, especially something this monumental. Yeah. And just one more time for the audience, it is lokelsonly.com. That's LOKELSONLY.com. You'll go to the local market section, click on the pig, which is Bunso, and you will go through and see the menu, the delectable menu that Don described for you, full of lumpias, Sammys, and burgers, all $6 each. With all the different dressings and condiments and flavors of the world that you can you can find. It's fantastic. So cool. You're doing this for 4 days straight, right? Thursday through Sunday?
Yep. 4 days straight. I'm committed to it. And this goes back to what I was saying, man. It's a... Hold on. Let me post something really quick. I just got a notion that free beer is available with a purchase during Power Hour.
Ooh.
3 to 4 p.m. or 5:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Nice.
I'm gonna purchase myself so I can get some of that beer, man. But what do you call it? Where were we? Oh, so it's 4 days. 4 days. I'm the only vendor that's doing it 4 days, and to me, it is a true showing to those that you have to earn your stripes with. That you're willing to put in the work to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And to me, I could have had the opportunity to be an OG like Lobsterdamus or Taste of the Pacific or Teofilo Coffee. But I was like, I knew I wasn't ready at the time, which was a couple weeks ago, because I was still figuring things out. In the process of getting furloughed, I had to get my ducks straight before I fully committed. I finally got to that point, and now I'm running the night program. which I
Wow.
think will be more successful given that, well, some people are working until 5. And what do they want when they're at 5? They don't want to be cooking sometimes, right? You want someone professional cooking for you.
Sure.
And I'm right there to fill that void. So I think it all works out at the end. And so long as you put in the hard work, really jump every hurdle that you can, and build ladders for those that you can't, anything's possible.
I like it. It's very inspirational. And, you know, I was also inspired to listen to something over the past couple of days, because one of our tremendous fans, and of course,
Sure.
Don, you would agree, our fans are the best, right? They well, okay, well, all right, that's one way to get more fans for sure. Well, I'll say that one of our fans, he wanted me to basically review this album called BOY Boy by an artist by the name of RAC, RAC. Now, these acronyms took me a while to memorize, because for the longest time I was like, is it RCA? Is it BYOB? Like, what album is it? I could barely find it on Spotify, but now that I did, I took a chance to listen to this album. It's a total of 47 minutes, 39 seconds, full of about, I don't know, 16, 17 tracks. I lost count. But here's my overall thoughts about it.
Okay.
If I were to classify this type of music, I would say this is kind of the chill wave, hopper, pop, bubblegum type of emo music. All right, that's the kind of umbrella genre that I put it under. But pop bubblegum, you know, like a little bit of a bubblicious going on.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, let me kind of give you the positives first, because I like to lead with positivity. And I'll say that some of the tracks were actually pretty decent. And in general, the album had this vibe of an interesting juxtaposition. The melodies were nice. The songs were kind of beautiful, like kind of mellow, so to speak, and kind of gives you that chill vibe. But when you listen to the lyrics, it's all about very emotional things. Like, obviously, the guy went through some things in his relationships, and he's kind of putting it out there. He's leaving his raw passion, his emotion, formulating his thoughts on the canvas. And I give him credit for that. Boomerang, to start off with, I think after the intro, I thought it was a great sound, and the hook where it was like, everyone who loves you is leaving. It's so sad, but it had a beautiful melody too. And I think Boomerang Dong was one of the songs that you got a chance to listen to too, right?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. Right? Is that against what you were saying? I love this pop bubblegum stuff that you're talking about. But I think it shows that we have different opinions when it comes to music. I like this kind of music. I can vibe with it. Is it something I'd re-listen to? Maybe in the background. Would I actively listen to it? Probably not.
That's a great point. And I think maybe to a lot of people who enjoy like the chill wave genre of music, it is something that is good kind of background music to kind of get you into a certain mindset, maybe a certain zone. You don't actively have to break down the lyrics. Like, this is not something that I'm going to be clamoring on Rap Genius over, trying to figure out what he meant by this bar, why this bar was a little bit different than the chorus. I'm not going to do any of that, but just to kind of appreciate it overall, yes, I can do that. Having it in the background, giving you those chill vibes, sure, fantastic. Moving on, track 3, forget the name. I just remember it as track 3. By the way, I'm kind of reading off of some notes that I made earlier while I was reviewing this album. Track 3, the sound was good. There was something where it was like, I don't want anyone if it ain't you. I can't remember for the life of me how it sounded like at this moment, but I'm sure it sounded nice. There's probably a good melody to it. Sure. Passion, another track, was also good. And at that point, I thought, okay, from the musicality standpoint, all the tracks flow well, the beats are good.
I gotta mention, Passion was a good track. I follow Lewis the Child. Passion is a fantastic track.
Wow. So you recognize some of the features on the album.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that is something special right there. Yeah, like to be perfectly honest, that's usually one of the first things I look for at an album. Like, who are the features? Not necessarily an indication that your album will be good or bad, but it helps me realize, okay, are you working with people that I've heard of? Luna Shadows, Danny Dyer, Louis the Child, or Louis the Child, however you want to call it, Matty J, Emerson Leaf, Minkay, Phil Good, Evelyn, Layet, Winneteka, Bowling League, Gothic Tropic, Instapendo, Jamie Liddell, and St. Lucia. I have not heard a single one of these people.
Oh man, you are ruining our sponsors here. Hey, by the way, sponsors, join the blue side. I'm just saying, he's representing the red side right now. Blue side, open arms, open arms. I'm all hugs over here, all hugs. I'm loving your stuff. RAC, keep doing your thing. If you ever want to be featured on one of our tracks, especially my track that's soon to be released 2023, just saying, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But go on, Arjun. Go ahead.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot left to say, to be perfectly honest, about this album. I mean, okay, I'll say this much. Next to You, I like Next to You because it reminded me of one of my favorite bands, Phoenix. Okay. Phoenix is, of course, this French group that do a lot of kind of like alternative pop type of music, alternative rock type of music. And I thought it was like Phoenix for that track Next to You, but slightly more urban and hip hop, which is okay. Toll House, or no, is it Toll House? Not like the cookies, no. It's Too Loose, sorry. The way he spelled it, I thought it was like the Toll House cookies, but really it's Too Loose. I like that song too. Good vocals, beat was nice. The melody of the ladies singing and how it complements the beat, I think everything kind of married together quite well. Stuck on You was where I was very disappointed because if you look on Spotify, usually they show you the top hits from every artist, and Stuck on You happened to be the #1 hit. So naturally I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to wait for this track. I'm going to like it a lot. It's going to be great. And to me, it was like, all right, this is just continuation of the usual theme. It's all just sad music about dealing with a lost love. And I didn't really like this song as much as I thought I would. And
hey man,
I was
you're just heartless, dude. You're just
no.
Can you
I'm
just
not heartless.
Do you understand what you just said?
No.
It's about a lost love.
No,
I wasn't feeling.
Here's the thing. I can say that, and I'm fully justified in saying that because if 16 out of 16 of your tracks are about lost love, I'm gonna get bored of you. Like, do something else.
Man. Hey, you don't care about broken hearts?
I care about it for 5 tracks. I can care about it for 6 tracks. I can't care about it for 16 tracks. And let me get one right back at you. Some people do it better than others. Case in point, I had the pleasure of listening to The Weeknd's last album called After Hours, which if you had a chance to listen to it, you would know it's also about, dealing with a very difficult breakup and all the things that come with it, the drug use, the vicious cycles, the longing, the yearning, everything. And the album was produced very well. Weeknd sounded amazing, and I could enjoy it thoroughly. I did not get sick of it. So it's not like I have this problem against music that's primarily about breaking up and whatnot. I have a problem when it's not good. I have a problem when it stops being good after track 5 or 6. So that's my take. And I'm sorry, RAC, if you want to work with Don, go ahead. But you're not working on my tracks.
All open arms. All open arms. I'm right here for you, RAC. Hey, if you want to produce and, just get like a little sip one in there, dude, I'm all for it. $1 every time I do it. $1 every time.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Oh man, shout out to the ad libs. But so that was Stuck on You. I thought Solo was okay. Get a Life was meh. Change the Story. Now, this is where I was really disappointed. Change the Story was a poor attempt to infuse funkadelic vibes. It was like he was really inspired by George Clinton and Parliament and trying to recreate that 80s, that 90s funkadelic style. Didn't really work for me. And then Better Days was also kind of meh, a little whiny. I did not enjoy the duet. The duet did not sound very good. It sounded like karaoke hour at a very cheap bar on a Tuesday afternoon. So I have to say, overall, the songs kind of blended together for me. I described it before to you as bubblegum, emo, pop, chill wave. I thought the album started off really strong, but kind of faded for me in the last third, especially the last third. My advice to RAC, and I'll be very simple here, I know your album's called Boy, but I'm gonna tell you to man up. Put some icy hot on that heartache. I don't want to hear another BOY album come back as a MAN. How about that? All right, that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
Disclaimer: he's talking about the red side, the orange side. The blue side is fully inviting. If you'd like, please put a pre-order for Bunso this coming Thursday through Sunday. We're open from 5:30 to 9:30. Just got word, if you order in the first hour, you get a free beer. You and I can sip on that beer together. Maybe think of a future together, working together, producing some fantastic music. We could feature others, unlike the red side people. And we'll make it work, Rack. We'll make it work. But that was just a disclaimer. This is not representative of the full SoCal DNA. This is just the SoCal A. SoCal A is talking.
This is just the a-hole talking. This is the a-hole of the DNA.
Hey man, I'm just saying I could be a D myself, so I'm just for the rack though, man, I feel it, man. A growing pains. Though we did not capture everyone with your Boy album. When you grow and mature and become a man and release the Man album, I'm cheersing you to that one. I'm feeling good things coming forward.
There you go. There you go. And obviously, we were a little bit contentious. We were having a little battle of opinions here. But that's nothing compared to something I found out recently, Don. Have you heard of this thing called Verzuz?
Ooh. I briefly, can you tell me about it a little bit more, just so I know I'm talking about the same thing?
For sure.
Usher album, right? It's the Usher album. No,
it's the sequel. It's the sequel to his album.
Okay.
No. So Verzuz is this new thing that's been going on Instagram Live, where essentially two very, very notable, influential artists in the hip hop R&B genre are going back and forth. They're basically kind of facing off against each other, and they're playing each other's music, they're playing their own hits, and they're kind of teeing off to see who has the best hits, who has the best bars, whether it's like from a pure hit standpoint to a lyrical standpoint, musicality, whatever it may be. And this recently caught my attention because an artist that I tried to sample miserably in previous songs, didn't go too well, was Erykah Badu. Something about her voice, something about a lot of her music really appealed to me. And so I found out recently that in this Verzuz program, Erykah Badu faced off against Jill Scott. And Jill Scott, of course, is a very, very accomplished artist in her own right. She has tons of hits. And I kind of wanted to see what that was like. So I went on Instagram. You can check out Erykah Badu's handle. You can check out Jill Scott's handle and see kind of the clips that they posted where they go back and forth and kind of play each other's music and whatnot. What was supposed to be a real battle between them became kind of a celebration of female empowerment, right? They were basically supporting each other and just celebrating all the major contributions to the hip-hop genre, to the R&B genre, to African-American culture, to urban culture that they made over the past 2 decades. And I thought that was fantastic. So that got me thinking, all right, well, what's coming up next? They actually have Nelly versus Ludacris. Ludacris, of course, you're very much familiar with. Luda, that's right. So we get to finally see who the true King of the South is, right? Tip wasn't invited for this one. He might have. What we're going to see is it Nelly with his country grammar, or is it going to be Ludacris with his Dirty South hip-hop albums? And I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know if this one's going to be as, empowering for both artists. I hope they actually go at it a little bit and really showcase their stuff because, as you know, Don, Ludacris is on my all-time list for favorite artists. He may not objectively be the hit maker that a bunch of other people are, but I like him. Well, we don't have to talk about the plebeians of the world. We don't have to talk about people who aren't even major labels.
So we're not talking about Lonzo anymore then, are we?
Oh, you're really going to get started with Lonzo now?
I'm just kidding. We shouldn't even waste our breath on that one, huh?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to let that one slide because I thought I was kind of on a roll with this topic. I'm going to let Lonzo slide on this one. But I'll say this. Beyond, Nelly and Ludacris, I think Snoop Dogg has expressed interest, and I know we were talking about Snoop just the other day, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion. Snoop wants to go up against Jay-Z because he feels like, I think you even said it, Snoop was the king of LA, king of West Coast for some time.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z has been the king of New York for some time. He may be giving it up to your boy, Tekashi 6ix9ine,
Hell yeah.
now that he's out of jail.
Hell yeah.
But we can touch that a little bit later. Do you think, number one, to start off with this whole versus thing, do you think it'd be cool to see Snoop versus Jay-Z, or would you rather have him go toe-to-toe with somebody else?
Okay, I could take this two ways. First
Sure.
way is I would love to see Jay-Z, the king of New York, battle the king of LA, being Kendrick, in this versus battle.
Ooh,
That would
yeah.
be fantastic,
Yes.
right? But on the other side, I think it would be fantastic to see a high off his head Snoop try to rap Jay-Z. I think it would be mad entertainment. It would help both their brands. Even Jay-Z spitting some of Snoop's verses because it's not his typical cadence. Just a pure cadence difference in their styles. And even what they rap about most of the time is obviously going to be different. It would be entertaining. I don't necessarily think that this is a pure versus battle in the sense of, you know, who's better or, you know, in a competitive sense. I think this is just be fantastic in this time of quarantine to have a nice little show, a nice little fresh breath of air with these two individuals if they were to do it.
I believe so. And, you know, this is something that I definitely stumbled upon. I wasn't intending on looking into it at all, but it caught my attention, and I'm kind of interested to see how it goes. So I know you'll be busy this weekend, but if I get a chance, this Saturday night, I'm going to try to check out on Instagram Live Nelly versus Ludacris to see who comes out on top, who
What
the
time?
fans vote for. I think it's going to be Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern,
Ooh.
so 4 p.m. 4 p.m.
Ooh, I might have some time. man.
Oh, word?
Bunso's going live 5:30, 9:30. Thursday
Okay.
through Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm just
okay.
saying, you know, it might be my nice little, you know, prep work listening.
I got you. We will definitely talk about that more at a later time. But, you know, one thing I do have to say, sometimes life is all about battles like this, right? You're versing artists that are contemporary, that are old school, and a lot of times you're actually versing things that are happening right now in this coronavirus invested time that we're in. And I'm talking about, of course, and this is our weekly segment, about what Donald Trump is up to. Now, Donald Trump, obviously, as people know, he has a very, let's call it, unique vocabulary. Some would call it a limited vocabulary, and some would call it repetitive vocabulary. He likes to basically reuse a lot of phrases over and over again, especially the word very. Everything's very good, very bad, very this, very that. And so you can imagine when regular machine learning based assistants like Google, like Bixby, like Alexa, when they try to decipher what Trump is saying, it doesn't always make complete sense. Sometimes the algorithms get messed up because of the sheer cadence of his delivery and the words that he uses, the constant jumping from one thing to another, jumping back to the original point, deflecting, all that stuff. So this one guy in particular, he basically had to design an AI bot that was deprogrammed at first from using the usual English grammar to using a bunch of different words recorded from samples of Trump speaking, whether it's in press conferences, talk shows, whatever it may be, just to get a better idea if Trump is lying, if he's angry, if he's telling the truth, or whatever it may be. So I thought that was really interesting because, you know, we are in this age where, you know, AI harnessing the ability of artificial intelligence, of training sophisticated models that get sample after sample of something. It could be something as easy as, you know, let's say you're watching a baseball game and using some AI technology, using machine learning models, this application can actually identify all the pitches that are happening in a baseball game. So you know when to skip to the next one. You can just skip through all the major stuff in the innings. It's a good way to kind of make your life easier by making the machine or the computer, the sophisticated technology, do all the legwork. So in this case, a Virginia man let me actually say shout out the article here. This article that I found is from Business Insider and written by Jake LaHoot on May 8th, 2020. And so this Virginia guy, he worked with a scientist that had a PhD in machine punctuation. Never heard of that before. I heard of machine learning, but machine punctuation to deprogram a bot from using the correct syntax and grammar for English and then reprogramming it to understand Trump. And this bot was called Margaret. I guess it was named after a West Wing character. And this was basically an evolution of a very sophisticated AI system that gathered Trump's speeches and tweets since 1976, Don. So a lot of audio samples went into this. And this is basically all about training the model. In case you don't know, there's something known as supervised machine learning, where a model is basically developed with sample after sample, where the programmer has to say, oh, this in particular is what we're looking for. Look for this. This is also what we're looking for. Look for this. So they keep feeding this algorithm samples, and eventually they were able to come up with this guy. And they found a lot of interesting things about how often Trump is telling a lie, how often Trump is comfortable. And I think one of the things they found is that when Trump is lying, he's actually not as stressed out. He's very, very comfortable. I think that's what makes him a pathological liar, actually. He's so comfortable lying to people, lying to the American people every day on the podium, talking about sunlight, heat, talking about disinfectant, cleaning the inside of the body. So I just found it really, really interesting how, all these observations were made. Another one that kind of stood out to me, Trump apparently speaks at 220 words per minute when he's not reading off the prompter. When he's just kind of going, no filter, talking to the American public, either at a press conference or a rally, 220 words per minute. That is quite something. That's like reading an audiobook at twice the speed, quite literally. And when he slows down to read the prompter, it's about half that, 111 words per minute. And then you can kind of tell it's not genuine from him. It's just something that was pre-written, something he's forced to read. And another interesting thing, and then I'll flip it over to you, when Trump gets mad, he stops gesticulating. He doesn't use his hands as much when he's mad. And I guess what he does, he tends to grip the podium extra hard, and he just points a little bit. He goes, excuse me. And he really tries to cut through all the madness. So I just thought it was kind of a fascinating foray into this whole AI universe and how to apply it to something that we hear about, we talk about almost every day, our President Donald Trump. So let me ask you this. It's kind of a tangential question here. But you know how everything has a voice nowadays, right? Mm-hmm. Like whether you talk to your Android phone, you're looking at Google Assistant, Alexa, even when you're navigating in your car, you can actually choose what accent, male or female, you want your Google Maps to do or your Apple iMaps to do. Mm-hmm. If I were to ask you, if you could pick anybody in the world, and I know you listen to a lot of different podcasts, you listen to a lot of different speeches and whatnot, which kind of person would you want? What character, what could be fictional if you want, what fictional character or real life actor, actress would you want voicing your Google navigation, just giving you directions?
Yo, honestly, without a doubt, I'm not saying this for the jokes, I would have an anime character voice doing it.
Wow.
Because I think it would be soothing when everything's going right, and then when I fuck up, it'll be like turn right, like really, and there'd be a build up to it, right? It wouldn't just be right away. You know
what would happen? Like when you take that wrong turn, you'll hear Nani.
Yeah, I know. Nani, and you're like, what? Oh, I fucked up. All right, that's what I would really do. I think it would be entertaining, and it would probably take me a lot longer to get where I want to go. Right, similar to some animes, it takes some time to develop, but I would enjoy the ride, which is what matters most.
I got you. Have you ever thought about getting into that yourself? Like maybe lending your voice to some kind of a database?
No. Because I heard or I've seen videos where there's these voice actors that go in, especially for these sort of algorithmic computations where they pair directions to your voice. You have to repeat these words so many times, and I don't think I would have the tolerance to say turn right 100 times for them to get it right. Turn right, and another 100 times. turn left.
That's actually true for a lot of audio related testing, especially with like wake up words and trigger words.
Yep.
You do have to get the sample like thousands of times, and ideally done with different people too.
Sure.
I know the example you're using is to kind of train your own model and to have like a custom voice to work off of, but
Sure.
yeah, it's a lot of tedious work, a lot of grinding for sure.
Yeah, would not want that. Would not want that. Don't even wish it on my worst enemy.
For sure. And, speaking of rejecting opportunities, rejecting offers, one guy in particular that I know the D is very fond of, of course, we're talking about the GOAT, as Don likes to say. Tekashi.
The GOAT, who's finally free.
That's
finally
right.
free.
Don is celebrating free at last, just like Martin Luther King said.
Get him out of those COVID-19 festering pens that they have going on. Get him out.
Festering pens, I like that. So, yes, we're talking about, of course, the infamous rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine. And you might be wondering, well, what did, that good old boy Tekashi 6ix9ine do recently? Well, I'll tell you what he did. Apparently, he tried to donate to by the way, this article is by Taryn Ryder from Yahoo Celebrity from May 12th, 2020. You can tell I got a lot of my articles from Yahoo. But basically, Tekashi 6ix9ine was trying to donate to a non-profit organization focused on ending childhood hunger, called No Kid Hungry. And unfortunately, his offer of $200,000 donation was rejected because a spokeswoman for the organization basically said, during this pandemic, I understand we have nurses and frontline. Okay, actually, that is a quote from Tekashi 6ix9ine. I am messing up over here. But here's the thing. The lady from the organization said this. We are grateful for Mr. Hernandez's generous offer to donate to No Kid Hungry, but we have informed his representatives that we have declined his donation. As a child-focused campaign, it is our policy to decline funding from donors whose activities do not align with our mission and values. And I thought to myself, wow, kudos to them for kind of sticking up for themselves a little bit here and not just being, completely, open-handed, taking money from anybody. And to retort, 6ix9ine on Instagram said, No Kid Hungry would rather take food out the mouth of these innocent children. I've never seen something so cruel. Now, I wanted to get your opinion, Don, because my opinion doesn't matter here. You know what I feel about 6ix9ine. I'm not really a fan of the guy in any means. Sure. But how do you feel about the GOAT being rejected, number one, and his reaction to getting rejected?
I get it. I mean, I get that the No Kid Hungry would decline the donation because of the media outrage that may occur afterwards. Is it wise to let go of free money, especially in these times where you could probably utilize that money for what you're supposed to be doing? No, it's not wise. But for the long game, it may be wise of them to do it. I think 6ix9ine was doing something that he felt was right. And it's a sad thing. It's a sad day for hip-hop and No Kid Hungry because 6ix9ine wasn't able to do the good deeds that the GOAT, allows him to do. And kids are hungry because of it. Some kids are hungry.
For sure. And though, for a fact that kids will not be hungry Thursday through Sunday.
Thursday through Sunday. I'm just saying,
go.
I can feed you. But, that 200K? Hey, 6ix9ine? Hey, you know who to send it to? Send it to Bunso. Send me 200K, I'll send out 200K in free food. I'm just saying. Well, after cost, minus cost and taxes.
There you go. It is always interesting to comment about rappers' lives that I don't even listen to their music.
I mean,
to be honest with you,
would you? Yeah. I mean, like if RAC were to send you 100K to, use for the betterment of society, you would take it, wouldn't you?
Well, no, because I'm not a charity, so I wouldn't necessarily be in a position to.
What do you mean? You just go out and hand out money in the streets of Santa Ana.
He could do that. Like, he doesn't need me for that.
What do you mean? He doesn't have time, dude. He's out there making that 100K.
He's out there making the 100K. Well, so I'll tell you this much. If the premise is some notable artist is going to give me cash so I can spread it out to people. I mean,
if Jay-Z were to do it,
I would. Yeah, I do it for Jay. I do it for Jay,
man.
You know,
Hater.
but
Haterade. You're drinking all that haterade.
I would call it more in this particular context. I would call it more appreciating greatness when I see it. So if Jay-Z were to reach out like, "Hey, yo, Argo, I'm gonna need you to hand out these dollar bills this Saturday night. You're gonna have to skip Don's little thing in L.A." I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna do that.
All right. Hey, well, all right. So hear me out then. Let's say it wasn't 6ix9ine. Let's say it was Pusha T.
Yeah.
Would it be warranted for them to decline it because of his past activities or current activities?
I would understand. I think.
But you would be like, they're dumb. They should have taken it.
No.
Pusha T is fantastic. They could have sprinkled some extra powder on it. We kept them going for days.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I would understand, because in these situations, like, it's really about the image of the charity, right? If the justification here is, oh, Pusha T sold dope and he probably hurt a lot of people in the process, I can understand that reason being enough to say, you know what, I'm going to reject this 100K or 200K. But I think the thing with Tekashi 6ix9ine is, now I don't quote me on this because I really don't know the kid, but I feel like he's done more bad things recently, and he's been notorious for some bad things with like gang members and you know, just the image that he brings with him is not really that marketable to a lot of, like, you know, buttoned up people. You know what I mean? Like, and here's my counterexample to what you say about Pusha T. You know, Pusha T had an official event with Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2016. He was doing some kind of a promotional party, like kind of like a hip hop concert or whatever, for Tim Kaine in Florida. Tim Kaine, of course, was the Democratic vice presidential candidate partnering with Hillary Clinton on the same ticket. And I thought to myself, wow, you know, look at that. Pusha T, you know, obviously we know of his history. We know that he's a hit maker now with his affiliation with the Neptunes, the Clips, and even now with Kanye. He's definitely well established in the hip hop game, and he's getting an opportunity to work at the highest level in terms of, you know, promotional activity. I don't really see Tekashi 6ix9ine being given those kind of opportunities ever. And it's not just because I think he's a bad guy. I just think after a while, after a history of behavior, I think most companies who are worth their salt, they're probably not going to fuck with you in that way. You know, I could be wrong. But what do you think? Like, do you think Tekashi 6ix9ine will have a hard time finding the typical sponsorship deals that other artists get? You know, like, do you think Adidas will be knocking on his door to get a contract with him? No. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I agree.
You know, now, of course, we can also comment on his lyrics being absolute trash.
Hey, Green Gang.
Wait, so were all the songs on that video from Tekashi?
I honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. But it's in that genre. It's not in the bubblegum genre. It's in that hardcore goat rap.
Goat rap, got you. Yeah. That's what we call trash now, huh? so you know, I'm going to transition here a little bit into saying I found this other article about lyrics in general, where very, very notable artists that you and I are both a fan of, such as Eminem, and another one called Lil Wayne. Some slight shade there. They actually admitted to Googling their own lyrics to avoid repetition. And this article, of course, is by Matthew Neal, from NME, from May 12th, 2020. And basically this came about from, Beats One radio show, Young Money Radio, recent episode, Lil Wayne and Eminem were kind of interviewing each other. And Eminem basically said, you know, artists like himself start getting to the point where you rapped about everything. You rhymed every word there is to rhyme. And then Wayne confessed, I literally have to Google my lyrics to make sure I didn't say certain stuff. Eminem feverishly responded, "Oh my God, I swear to God, I do that too." And then Lil Wayne's like, "Soon as you go to my Safari, it's going to be Lil Wayne lyrics." Like, that's the first result that pops up. And I thought to myself, wow, here are like two legends in the game, right? And I will admit,
Sure.
a lot of people do like Lil Wayne, so I'll count him as a legend here. These people have done it all in terms of hip hop. They've seen the highest of tops, right? The highest of peaks, and they've also seen the lowest of lows. I mean, in a prequel episode, Don actually shared with me a song by Eminem from his recent album. I forget exactly what the song was called. Darkness. It was called Darkness, where it contrasted, the Eminem that we know today, who's kind of trying to hang on to relevancy, versus the Eminem of old, with the whole, shooting that happened in Vegas. But digressing from that, it's always amazing to me to see anything related to the creative process for these artists. And Eminem, of course, he is a beast when it comes to delivery, right? Not many artists can rap like him. He's the guy that rapped over 6,000 words on the single Rap God, which is no easy feat to behold. So naturally, a guy like that, who's such a prolific rapper, same for Lil Wayne, they probably do repeat themselves from time to time. And in order to try to avoid that, I think they do have to make a conscious effort to look back at their history of lyrics to see if they use certain rhymes in the past, if they use certain concepts, constructs, ideas, schemes in the past, so they don't regurgitate the same information for their fans. Now, I have two thoughts on this. Number one, I respect that so much because they care a lot about originality. They may not always be making hits nowadays, but they're trying to do something different, and there's value in that. Number two, I think it goes to show how you and I both know a lot of artists tend to stick to a certain mold. RAC, for example, he knows how to make one type of song, and he continues making that one type of song for his whole album. And that's fine. People dig it, and some people can like that. That's okay. But other people like myself, who is interested in the lyrics part of it a little bit, I do want to hear what the artist is trying to say, and I don't want to hear the same thing every single song or every single album. So I like that the artists are making an effort to do this, and this begs a question, though, about the writing process for every artist. And you and I, we would say we are like amateur at best, not even amateur.
Professional already, man.
Okay, we are professional. This happened overnight, apparently.
Exactly.
So we are professional artists. We are professional writers. We always write our own music. We don't have help from anybody else. My question to you is, what is your personal writing style when it comes to lyrics?
Honestly, whatever I feel like, whatever I'm thinking about.
Wow.
Because I don't think I have an agenda right now. I mean, dude, my agenda right now is Thursday through Sunday, 5:30, 9:30.
Yes.
And I'm slowly getting to the point of kind of identifying my own aspiration, so to say, for lack of a better word, right? And I'm coming to that. It's a fat kid's dream. And
I like it.
I fucking love it. So I think eventually, once you've developed an aspiration that you want others to perceive you as, it helps, or rather it lends itself to writing, where you could then develop bars that help solidify that sort of persona or that sort of image you want people to know you as. Because the more and more you say it, the more and more you become it.
As the great LeVar Ball used to say, you can speaketh into existence. You can speak things into existence. And I think in some ways, I agree with that statement. I think you really have to think the power of words here, how when you actually mouth out the words for something and not just think about it in your head, it suddenly becomes real. And especially if other people are there to hear it, it becomes like part of the energy that's kind of resonating through the air.
Yep.
And there's value in that, for sure. There's value in that. Me, on the other hand, when it comes to writing lyrics especially, I take my time because I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist when I go line by line. It's a very different style than yours.
A bit.
And
and it's fucking put my bracelet in my beer.
Oh god. Okay.
I was trying to balance it on the rim. Fuck.
Jesus Christ, man. Well, I guess that's a different kind of cocktail. But I would say one thing that I will admit though, whenever I hear somebody else on the track with me, maybe they go first on the beat and they write something, they record something. It always motivates me to push myself to write something better.
Sure.
So whenever I hear Don, and by the way, Don's being very humble here. He writes very quickly. He can come up with this stuff in like a matter of seconds, right?
Oh,
and it's gold.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
absolute gold.
It is great. Some of it's garbage. Let's be honest. About 70 to 99% of it is garbage. But that 30 to 1%.
Ooh, that's fire right there. That is fire for sure. And one thing I noticed about Don's lyrics, for some reason, there's this effect that it has on me. Usually when I read his lyrics for the first time, I think, wow, this is really good. Like, this is really, really good. For some reason, then, over time, I start kind of nitpicking. I start thinking, interesting use of words here. Maybe I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I would have done that. But initially, Don has this veneer of shock value, which is really compelling, and I like that. I think that's a unique rap style. It's a unique lyricist style that only Don, the D, can give you.
Here we go again. It's your boy D.
Yeah, that's right. That was actually his opener for Plot du Jour, this song that I did before. How does it go? Here we go again. It's your boy D coming at you steady. I forget, man.
Always ready.
Always ready. You didn't know what to think of this, or something like that. I forget what it was.
I spent like 6 of the 8 bars just explaining myself.
I'm almost tempted to look up that one. Do you have it, by the way?
I don't have it on me. I don't.
Oh man! All right. You know what? We will queue it up for next time for sure. So I think it goes without saying we do have different styles of writing, and it's one of those situations where styles really make fights, just like the UFC card was made with all those different clashing of styles. And styles also make a good collaboration. And I'm glad that Don and I are so different lyrically, so different musically. He likes RAC, he likes Boy. I'm not quite a fan of RAC and Boy.
That's an understatement, buddy.
That is an understatement. I have been ripping him this whole podcast. But to be perfectly honest, and shout out to Derek, by the way, for the recommendation, I did enjoy it. It's not like I hated it. I did enjoy it overall. But when I really took the time to
don't go digging yourself out of this hole you've already committed to, man. Come on, dude.
Well, I am gonna dig myself a little bit, not all the way out. I'm gonna dig myself to the halfway point here. I'm gonna say, it was an experience. I think whenever I listen to this chill hop, chill wave type of music,
pop bubblegum
type of music, as I described it, it is a little different. It's not my usual forte. But I like to hear the music of it first and foremost. Like, it's really chill. I will like to use that word. It's mellow. I can imagine, sometimes you go on YouTube and you hear those lo-fi beats, right? Like you see that same old animation cycle over and over again, and there's some nice beat playing in the background. It's kind of like that. And I can dig it for sure, but only to a certain extent. 5 tracks later, I'm probably out. I'm not trying to listen to more of this RAC by Boy. I can't even remember. Is it Boy by RAC or RAC by Boy? Try to pick something a little bit more original. These names are so boring. But anyway, shout out to Derek for that one. And shout out to everybody who's been listening. I feel like we've been slowly gaining our popularity from the tens of thousands to the hundreds of thousands. I know Don's been sharing with all of his fans, all of his customers and whatnot. So we're certainly growing. Bunso is growing, and SoCal DNA is growing as well. And Don, what do you think, man? I know you probably want to shout out Thursday through Sunday one last time, just to let the fans know.
No. I mean, I think our fans already know that to catch Bunso, you got to come in Thursday through Sunday, 5:30 and 9:30 p.m. I think they already know that, man. I think we played that enough. No need to repeat the fact that I'll be there on Thursday through Sunday, 5:30 and 9:30 p.m. at Lokels Only, DT LA. Shout out to Lokels Only. But I think they know already, man. I think they know already. Thursday through Sunday, 5:30,
for sure,
9:30 p.m.
And the bowls were like what, $6 each, right?
Yeah. So all my dishes are $6 each. We are doing lumpia, our cholo lumpia, which is fantastic. Again, I grind up I'm just kidding. It's carne asada wrapped up in lumpia style, egg roll style. And we got 2 burgers on the menu, one being a traditional longanisa burger, fantastic sausage, spicy and sweet, just the way mama made it. and a fried chicken sandwich. It's delicious.
Would you say it's finger licking good, Don?
I'm saying I'm gonna sell buckets of chicken eventually after this, because I know, dude, I'm telling you, my fried chicken is fucking bomb. Like, it gets me every time. Like, I'm like, how am I this good? You know, like, I can eat that all day. But again, it's a fat kid's dream. Don't eat it every day. But this Thursday through Sunday, 5:30 and 9:30 p.m., make sure to get one of those days, or 2 of those days, you know, or 3 of those days, or 4, you know, depending on how risque you are.
You know, it is a fantastic opportunity for Bunso, and I think the fans, the legions of fans, will enjoy it immensely. And you know, I think that's a pretty good way of capping it off for this particular episode. I don't remember what episode this was, Don. This might have been 5 or 6.
Well, all I know is I was the winner. That's what matters. I think that's what matters.
That is what matters. I think this is officially 6, actually. So this was episode 6. You know, thank you guys so much for listening. It's always a blast to have our audience in the mix, and we appreciate the feedback. We really do appreciate the feedback, the commentary, the suggestions. We will try to cater toward our fans, just like Don caters toward his legions of customers.
Sunday, 5:30.
There you go. That's all we got to say. So this is from the D and the A. We'll catch you on the Flippity Flip, and Don will hopefully catch all of you Thursday through Sunday. You know where. We'll put the website in the description for the video so you guys know. Anyways, you guys take care now. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.
Peace. Let's get this intro, outro. Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised our DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we?
That many
on?
orders, guys. That many orders.
Zombies all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of Don's lives as Arjun act like he's surprised.